New at 6, the headlines are filled with stories about people dying from opioid overdoses, 49,000 just last year. But there's a drug even more deadly, and it might be in your refrigerator.
The CDC says alcohol kills more than 50,000 people every single year, and that number doesn't even include accidents that involved alcohol.
WSBT 22's Cassidy Williams is here, and Cassidy, alcohol is just a part of our culture.
For many, just one beer is enough, and it never becomes a problem. But for millions of Americans, they're surrounded by their addiction. Josh Johnson says he blacked out for the first time when he was 14. Drinking heavily, quickly, became a daily routine.
Friends would joke, "Oh, you're an alcoholic," and I'd just kind of embrace it. Like, yeah, I am. I boasted about it, which, looking back, it was something dumb to do, but I don't know, when you're that age and the culture I was in, you just kind of think of it as a joke.
John Horsley has helped addicts through recovery for decades. He says it can be hard to spot who has a problem, especially this time of year.
It's football season, people are tailgating. So it's not unusual behavior for people to drink a large amount of alcohol before the game.
Horsley says alcohol addiction is becoming more common.
Through it all, through methamphetamine, through cocaine, through heroin, alcohol still remains the biggest problem.
The National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence says 1 out of every 12 adults abuse or depend on alcohol.
I didn't understand what an alcoholic was. He had a brown paper bag in his hand laying in the gutter. You know, I went to work every day. I still hung out with friends. I still was active, so I couldn't have been an alcoholic.
Josh realized he was that 1 in 12 on a painful night.
I was actually on a bender, partying with friends, and I had gotten home that night, and I had actually hit a really low point in my life, and I didn't want to continue living anymore. And somehow I got so inebriated that I passed out. And I woke up the next morning and I could barely move. I crawled out of my room, slid down the stairs, and went to the fridge to try and drink more just to make the withdrawals go away, because I knew that was all I could really do. And once I got the second drink down and nothing was happening other than throwing up, I called a coworker who's actually in recovery. And he's like, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Josh spent 4 days in the ICU as he went through alcohol withdrawal. Then he came here to Choice's Recovery Center in South Bend. He's been here for 35 days, and now it's graduation day.
I've never graduated anything in my life. I was a high school dropout. I got my GED, but I never got that ceremony.
His 2 sisters, one of their boyfriends, and the friend who drove him to the hospital are on their way from Iowa to see him get that certificate.
It's never gonna get to be alive, right? Yeah!
But as the ceremony starts inside,
Come on.
Josh is still waiting outside for his family to show up. While he paces, he realizes with sobriety came patience.
2 months ago, I would have been fuming and freaking out, but come a long way. There they are.
Luckily, he didn't have to wait much longer.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
It's a hug that just feels different.
I enjoy everyday life now. Like, from the colors to listening to songs I've heard a million times, they sound better.
It doesn't matter if you did 12 steps or smart. We like to thank our peers, you all did your part. Oh, it's time for graduation with Josh and Emily and friends. Love you.
I can't believe you got me to do that.
A complete graduate of this program, and I can't wait to see where he heads. Let's hear it for Joshua Jade!
Yeah!
Josh's story is not unique. Horsley says abuse peaks between 18 and 25.
When people are teenagers and they're using, there's more of a view of, wow, we don't have a serious problem, but it's, kids will be kids, kind of thing, so people are a little less aggressive to get it dealt with.
There's only 2 days out of the year that you can't do anything about, and that's yesterday and tomorrow.
At 29, Josh has dealt with it, but he knows a certificate is not the end of his struggle.
It is going to be extremely hard when I leave here, because every single time there's a commercial break on TV, Every gas station, every grocery store, liquor store, they're on every single corner. They're everywhere.
After graduation, Josh flew out to California to live in a sober living community. We've stayed in touch, and he says he's now 60 days sober. For more information on resources in our area to get help and for more information on how to spot an addiction, go on WSBT.com and click on this story. Todd and Jennifer.